13th. I'm Rim.
I don't know what Rim's going to call this episode.
And I didn't know what I was going to call the episode, and then I said tall instead of call.
Let's do this.
Instead of what I usually do, which is slip out of work and buy a beard papa to eat on the train, I actually went and bought a challah instead. And
I was actually thinking of buying a bread when I walked by the bread stand, because I took the late train home, but I didn't buy a bread. And you know what? I'm glad I didn't, because when I got home, there was a bread sitting there.
We'd better call Randy, because there must have been some sort of psychic synchronicity.
Yeah, that bread stand I walk by every day and think about buying a bread every day. Yeah, what a coincidence that...
How much money can the bakeries in Grand Central make? I mean, think about this.
Well, the bakery itself is somewhere else, and they have like locations around the city, and they just drive bread around to the different locations.
Well, yeah,
for their
still,
central
fine.
big bakery.
The places that sell bread, and they do bake some of the smaller things directly there, partly because it generates that smell.
I think they heat up some frozen things like that.
No, they also bake.
What do they bake?
I've seen them bringing in the dough in the. Remember, I get there in the morning when the deliveries are still coming in.
Oh.
They bake.
All right.
But anyway.
Whatever you say.
How much money do they have to make? I mean, think about 200-something thousand people walk past that bread stand twice a day.
Well, it looks like they have there, right, about every day. How many bagels would you think are stacked up there early in the morning?
At least
500 to 1,000 bagels? Something like that?
I think there's a simpler way to look at this. 200,000 people walk past that every day. They walk past the first time when it's morning, and they probably didn't eat breakfast, because a lot of the people who take the train don't eat breakfast. So, hey, I could get a bagel and cream cheese for like $1 right there, and it's on my way to work.
Yep.
It won't inconvenience me at all.
So that's already like $1,000 in the morning, at least. Then you add in the coffees, add in the $2.50 orange juice, add in all the danishes and muffins and rolls and then croissants.
I've noticed, it's weird, but like when I worked at IBM, or even when I worked at, I guess the hospital.
Croissant.
I think a long commute is what does it. Because I worked at IBM, be like, all right, I'm going home. And I'd leave at some point between 3 and 6, just depending on what I felt like. And I would just drive home, and then I'd get home and I'd do stuff. And I would I would just wait, and then I'd eat dinner later. But when I had a long commute, when I drive home from the hospital or from anywhere in the Bronx, I would almost invariably stop at a Starbucks and get like a cookie and a coffee, or I'd stop at like a gas station, get a Red Bull and like a snacky cake. I'd get something to eat. And now, every day, while I don't do it every day, my brain always says, hey, Rim, you better buy some sort of melon pan or something to eat on that train, because 5 minutes after it starts rolling, you're going to wish you had it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And every day, if I don't buy something, I'm on the train like, damn it. I would pay like $10 if someone would give me some food now.
That's why as soon as I get home, I eat like 3 snacks and drink some juice every day. So, Rim, what are we doing the show on today?
Oh, well, I think we'll get to that in the minute. We got nothing.
You have no idea what we're doing the show on. I'm just revealing the fact that we do like the first half of the show not knowing what we're going to talk about in the second half of the show.
Not always. Sometimes we do that.
We're going to do the news, and then we're going to sit around thinking of what the main bit's going to be.
Yeah, you're going to hear, it's a little like talking, then you'll hear that thing of the day music come in, then it stops. We're basically going to hit pause. And that thing of the day music, so you all know, is not live. That's added in after the fact by a script that figures out when we stop talking.
Yeah.
So,
So, yeah, we have no idea what to do in the show on
Maybe
today.
we should do the show on reveal all the secrets of Geeknights, like what I'm wearing right now.
No, let's not reveal our secrets, because then someone will copy us.
Oh, yes, because Anime World Order...
They'll take our winning... It's like giving away the secret recipe.
Yeah, all right, let's see.
Or the secret sauce.
Somehow I don't think Anime World Order or Fast Karate or movies you should see would be made better if, 1, they didn't plan their show ahead of time, 2, one of them or more of them were mostly naked.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's it.
That's it?
I'm done.
You got news or something?
Oh, I got news. You want to do news?
All right, I can do my news.
All right, you can do your news first.
This is pretty hot. This kid, this is the kind of stuff I love. So, all right, some kid, in fact, I should say his name because I think he's cool. His name is Michael Sheridan.
Well, wait, he must have not done something to get him in trouble with the law, because then they would say, we can't release the name of a minor, blah, blah, blah.
Ah, the wonder of committing something that is not actually a crime, but yet you can still be punished for.
Oh.
However, it's cool. It's all cool.
All right.
So Michael Sheridan is an 8th grader. He was an honors student in some Connecticut middle school.
All right.
He was the vice...
Does it say the name of the school?
No.
All right.
He was the vice president of his class.
All right.
So he's one of those kids. He's one of those cool, smart, happening, in the student government. Not the president, but the vice president. So he probably wields all the real power. Anyway.
Yeah, because there's real power in the student government at a middle school.
So he purchased from another student some contraband, was caught, and had his title stripped from him, and was then suspended. Now,
wait, what the contraband is, I can already tell. Whatever that contraband is the story.
Now, the deal is, we have this obesity epidemic, right?
It was soda or candy or something?
This obesity epidemic is brought on entirely by people's own goddamn faults if they just eat less food, but I digress.
Yep.
Also, corn subsidies are not helping.
Not helping too much.
Not helping at all. Man, any day now, my Dublin Dr. Pepper is going to be here. I ordered 2 cases of cane sugar original recipe Dr. Pepper. And you know what? I ordered it at no small expense, too. So you Visigoths who are coming, you're not drinking it if it comes tomorrow. I'm gonna have to hide this crap.
You're gonna have to. Well, I think what you should do is you should just give them all one bottle for all of them. So that way, it's even more cruel because they all know what they're missing, but they can't get any, and they get such a small portion of one serving each.
That's so mean.
I know.
Of course, I mean they could always get.
But you deserve to do that.
What? Yeah, I guess I do. Actually, it wasn't that expensive. The thing is, it was oh man, it's only $10 a case. I'm gonna order 10 cases.
Shipping is $20.
Yeah. Then I realized, wait a minute, freight shipping cases.
Are they glass bottles or cans or what?
Actually, I could have gotten glass bottles or cans. I chose cans because the cost per ounce, including the glass, not worth it. Not worth it.
I would have gotten 1 case of glass bottles and the rest cans, and that way you have the glass bottles for those special times. But then, you have the cans for practicality.
What I'm thinking of doing is I got to make sure, because I had real Dr.
Well, you know what?
Pepper.
What if you get it and it tastes like shit?
Well, I had real Dr. Pepper when I was a kid. Real Dr. Pepper. Because Dr. Pepper was hard to get up in Michigan, and relatives would bring it from down south because my mom was addicted to it. And at a young age, so was I. But Dr. Pepper changed, and now it's a different recipe and uses corn syrup and all that. But this is the real deal. So I got to make sure that it tastes as good as I remember. And experience thing, I think it will be, because I love Mexican soda. Mexican soda is 1,000 times better than anything you get in the U.S., other than maybe the Passover Coke. So I ordered the cans to make sure it's good. If it's good, I'm going to order some of the glass, and I think I'm going to put it in the wine cabinet next to all the wine.
Go you.
It costs about the same.
Are you going to mix it with Vodek?
No.
All right.
Dr. Pepper and vodka would taste...
What do I know? I don't like either one of those beverages.
That
I know that people mix the alcohols and the sodas. That's what I know.
What you just said to me is hey, what if you take your orange juice and you mix it with pee? Hey, that's doo-doo!
The thing is, to me, all Dr. Pepper, all soda and all alcohol tastes like pee. So it's
No, what you mix with Dr. Pepper, dear Scott, is rum. Particularly spiced rum.
Okay, because I know.
Well, you should know.
No, I shouldn't, because I don't drink rum and I don't drink Dr. Pepper.
I'm going to give you a little hint. Here's an easy way to tell. This doesn't work for everything. If it's a brown drink, put a brown liquor in it. If it's not a brown drink, you shouldn't be putting a brown liquor in it. There are some exceptions. There's a lot of exceptions, but that's a good rule to go by.
So can we make up some sort of rhyme to go with that? If it's brown, flush it down.
If it's brown, chug it down.
If it's yellow, let it mellow.
If it's red, go to bed.
Oh, God. I never heard that. That's terrible.
I don't know. Red Bull and Dr. Pepper.
Red Bull's not red.
Yeah, it's kind of urine colored. Anyway, see what happens when we don't have a main bit? We digress.
Can I do my news?
I didn't even get to mine.
Oh.
So,
that's right, the kid.
So here's the quote from the superintendent, Super Nintendo Reginald Mayo.
What is was the contraband?
I'm getting to that.
All right.
The principal, he said, quote, "The principal was just trying to keep students safe."
Okay.
Safe from this contraband. Now, he was originally suspended, this kid, for 3 days, but they brought it down to 1 day in light of his honor record and the fact that he was the vice president of the student council. However, they did, as I said, impeach him and strip him of his title. He will not be reinstated. Michael said that he did not realize the item purchased was against the rules, but he admitted later that he did notice that the student selling the item on February 26th might have been acting somewhat secretive.
Mm-hmm.
The banned item was a bag of Skittles.
Oh, man.
Now, one...
Got to sue the school over that one.
Yeah, this bothers me a little bit that...
Of course, it's middle school. It doesn't matter that much.
This New Haven school system, the entire system, banned candy sales in 2003 as part of a district-wide school wellness policy. Now, I remember my high school, right? My high school was worried not so much about obesity, but more about just, kids got to be healthy, whatever. Which I think was absolutely not true because the stuff they sold for lunches in that high school, I don't even want to get into that.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one pop machine. I can say pop because it's referring to the past, much like how we had have a friend who got a sex change and changed the name as a result. And then we had a serious debate as to whether or not, if referring to the person now, we use the new name, obviously. But what if we're referring to a story that happened in the past when the name and gender were different? And the answer from the person in question was, well, if I was a dude back then use my dude name. And because I was a dude then. But if I'm not a dude in the story, then use my non-dude name.
It's as if someone died and was reborn and it's two different people.
Yeah, so if you ever have a sex-changing friend, that's the answer.
All right.
But anyway.
Great advice from Rim.
So I can say pop because I lived in Michigan. It was pop. It was the pop machine.
In other words, you agree that it's soda now.
No, it's pop. I'm just
So
avoiding
why do you have to
controversy.
make a disclaimer?
You know
you
what?
wouldn't have to make a disclaimer if the default was not soda. If the default was pop, you would only have to disclaim soda. I think you've basically just done yourself in.
The only reason I have to make a disclaimer, because I point out that according to that survey, at the last time I looked at it, which was a couple of years ago, so it might have changed, but soda and pop were pretty much neck and neck. And I think
you trust that survey as a valid scientific thing.
It's been widely cited, but I think we can all agree on one thing.
Yeah,
Both
a lot
sides.
of things are widely cited. That doesn't mean anything. I could write, Rim's a douche and then cite it 100 times. It doesn't make it any less false.
I think
false.
you've discovered the secret to editing Wikipedia.
Yeah.
And all right. But I think that us pop believers and you soda heathens can agree on one thing. Much like how Muslims and Christians agree on one thing. They agree that atheists suck and generally don't like them. I think we can agree that if you say Coke and you're not referring to Coca-Cola or at least a cola beverage, you're wrong.
All right. So continue with the news here about the Skittles.
All right. So in my old high school, the pop machine, right?
Yeah.
They would turn it off during school hours because there was some sort of mandate where they didn't want kids buying unhealthy things. So you couldn't buy pop during school. But the real reason, and I got this straight from the vice principal's mouth, and it was verified by a bunch of other people. The real reason was the pop machine would be used to the exclusion of all the juice machines, and the school was losing revenue. Because the pop machine was owned by some outside company, and there were these juice machines that the school owned. No one wanted juice from the juice machine. It wasn't even real juice.
Wow. See, when I was in middle school, there was just a juice machine, right? But when I was in high school, there was a candy store. They would sell candy in the school every day. There was actually...
See, my high school had that too, so I don't get it.
Until my senior year, because basically what they did is... When I was a freshman, we were the first class of freshmen in high school who weren't allowed to smoke. All the people older than us could smoke on the smoking dock. And when we were seniors, the smoking dock was finally just an area you could go. It wasn't the smoking area because now there was no smoking. But when I was a junior, the people who were sophomores when I was a freshman, they were the current seniors, and they were the only ones who can go outside and smoke on the smoking dock. And there was smoking in high school. And now you can't even get Skittles. Right?
Man, oh God, we should do this show about what high school was like when we were in high school, because think about this. We got a lot of listeners.
I think we just did the whole show, though.
I got a lot more to say. I used to go to the mall over lunch. I used to just leave. Oh, man.
No, but I think for the news that you just did, I think the general problem there is, no candy in school. I mean, when I was in middle school,
no candy sales in school.
Oh.
Because he bought the Skittles from a contraband dealer.
Okay, but basically...
Here's the moral before you get into your thing, so we could we don't have to go back to the story. The moral is the kid who's not named, who is selling the contraband, gets mad props for being awesome. And if my school had banned the sale of pop or something, you can bet your ass I would have had an illegal pop dispenser in my locker.
You know, back in the day when Mortal Kombat was a new game, a friend of mine wrote a strategy guide for it and sold it, the copies, and sold it to kids in school and got in trouble for it. But he got mad monies that he needed for something. I think he bought a Super Nintendo or something. I forget.
Man, the school shouldn't punish that. The school should reward him for being an entrepreneur.
I know, right? But yeah, basically, I think the only problem with the story that you just read there was that the punishment was way too harsh. I mean, suspended and stripped of vice president because you bought Skittles. I mean, I could understand that for, say, maybe like, cheated, on like a final, or, was giving out answer books or stole something from somebody, something somewhat serious.
I'm glad you said final, though, because cheating on homework, whenever I couldn't get around.
But buying Skittles, that's one detention at most,
Hey, you know what? All that should be is one, punish the seller.
That too.
Of course, I'm sure the seller got punished a lot more, and I'm sure, but that seller, mad props.
The seller was probably not a high class, student vice president, so he doesn't get in the news.
Yeah, it's always the sad thing in high school. All you kids in high school, remember and remember well, as long as these teachers and administrators believe that you are a nice kid, you will get away with anything you want to get away with. However, if they think you're a troublemaker, you'll get in trouble if you didn't do anything.
Yep.
That's kind of how the world works, so learn it in high school and take advantage of it.
Crying wolf.
There's a reason the honors kids skip class a hell of a lot more than, I don't want to say you, because a lot of you are honors kids, but there's a reason those kids skip a lot more and get away with a lot more.
If you're an honors kid, you're not skipping. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, seriously.
You're the nerdy type who needs to learn to cut loose.
If you're a junior in high school and you've had perfect attendance for 2 years and you've had straight A's and you've never really been in trouble and I
think you're not geek. That's definitely nerd territory.
Nah, because I was like that, except for the perfect attendance. I didn't skip, though, until my sophomore year of high school when I said, wait a minute, I don't have to go to class. What are they going to do? They're not going to expel me. Anyway, that's my news.
Can I do my news?
No.
All right. So you're a fan of the sub-vocalization, are you not?
Yeah. Oh, I know what your news is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, sub-vocalization is basically, it's sort of hard to come with an exact definition, but basically, no. Wikipedia is sort of unsure about. I don't know how much I can trust Wikipedia.
Don't go by Wikipedia.
Yeah, sub-vocalization.
You talk, I'll look at the Wikipedia. Let's see if it's accurate.
Basically, it's somewhere, you're basically talking, but you're not talking. Like, imagine if you talked and you went through all the motions of talking, but you removed the lips, tongue, and mouth part, and you just used the throat part. Now, some people even say, oh, you don't even use the throat part. You just sort of, think about some words, and your body's, the nerves in your body and your throat sort of do their thing, but they don't actually make any noise.
And that is largely true. I mean, theoretically, you could make a device that would read, nerve impulses in your neck and throat and figure out what words you were thinking about with a reasonable...
Did you just read my news?
Actually, I didn't read it, but I saw the headline.
Yeah, basically, someone's made a device that basically reads the nerves in your neck, and
there's a picture.
They figure out what word is a video. They figure out what words you're sub-vocalizing, and then it sort of says them out loud. So you can talk without talking. So,
you know what this does?
If your tongue gets cut out, suddenly you can talk.
There's more to it than that. I mean, think about this. Theoretically, that for certain kinds of paralysis too.
Yeah,
you could talk again, but also beyond
just by thinking the words.
This is also because devices like this that don't measure the nerve impulses, but you can talk very low, so low that no one could possibly hear you in your throat. And a lot of special forces people use these things, and police forces use these things to communicate in, say, a hostile environment where you don't want to be like Counter-Strike, where I'm sitting there around the corner and I'm waiting for...
And you gotta tell someone to circle around back. But if you go, hey, Rim, circle around back, suddenly all the terrorists go, I heard Scott, let's go shoot him.
Yeah. They're coming from behind.
They're coming from behind. They're circling around back. Of course I can say that and then circle around front and then shoot him in the back.
But then all your teammates circle around back.
I know.
Man, I don't know if everyone realizes the full joke of circle around back.
We'll tell it another time.
Should we?
Let's save it.
It's a good joke. I get, we'll wait until I find audio of that.
Good call.
Because that is, I don't think anything needs to be said.
Nope.
All right. So, yeah.
Go. So they made this device, and, it's going to be pretty awesome. But the thing is, right now, it can only recognize about 150 words and phrases. And because it has to do so much processing, even with the fast processor in there, there's a delay between the time you subvocalize and the time that it says the words out loud for you.
But you know what? That doesn't matter at all, because what this is, if nothing else, is a proof of concept. What we've learned from this is that, yes, that's possible. It's only a matter of time.
This is a good example of not only something that's awesome and a technology that's going to change the world for a lot of people, but I think this is something of an example of, wow, that is something that is patentable. Like, if we have a patent system, this is what patents are for. Something that's actually fucking new and actually amazing. Not for someone taking a bunch of stuff that already exists and just happening to be the first one to glue it together, which was obvious to everyone else. They just didn't do it yet.
But anyway, things of the day. After, there was going to be a pause there. But actually, unlike what Scott said before, there was no pause there.
Nope.
We didn't do it. We're going on the wire. This is live. We don't have any plan. So, things of the day. What do you got for me? Thing of the day, Scott?
Well, Water's Poison posted this bad boy in the forums, and it was so high quality and so impressive that I got to pass it on to anyone who doesn't check it out in the forums. Basically, dude named Christopher Hitchens, and he was in a debate with Alistair McGrath in October last year.
I point out that Alistair is one of my favorite names ever.
Yep. And basically it was one of those atheism versus religion debates, the old school happy time, right? And basically what someone's done is they took Christopher Hitchens' opening statements, and by the way, Christopher Hitchens is the atheist side of this debate.
I think we could have left everyone hanging until they listened.
Yeah. They took his opening statement, basically, for this debate, and they made 2 videos on YouTube that sort of illustrate his opening statements with pictures and graphics of sorts. And not only the opening statements themselves, pretty much amazing, and I couldn't even think of any way to fight against them, even if I wanted to be on the religious side, right? The illustrations add a lot of humor and other things, and power to the statement. It's worth definitely watching these videos. And there's also a link. I'm basically linking to our forum for this one. There's also Star Fox posted a link to a full video of the debate itself, so you can actually watch the whole debate if you're that interested. And I'm getting the feeling this is going to be a high-quality debate because it's a high-quality opening statement.
Because it's not entertaining to watch someone go, "There's no God and you're stupid," and someone else go, "There is a God and you're stupid." Debates like this are so up my alley.
Yeah, or 2 people who are actually, like, academic and civil, speak intelligently in a fair and organized way. The kind of thing that happens not on the internet.
Maybe we should just go back to, like, ancient Athens.
You want your, what's it called?
Penis on the Parthenon?
No, your thing with the wine.
Oh, actually, I'm still thinking about that. I think I gotta wait till we get a house. If I get a house.
With the sideways chairs with the circular spiral pillow?
My thinking is actually, if and when I get a house, I want to furnish the living room, not with a big couch like everyone has, like the central blah and the coffee table, because that's with the sheer number of people we have over so often. That's just so restrictive in what we can do and how we
just 100 beanbag chairs.
But beanbag chairs even worse. They take up so much space and offer so little. They turn into flat crap after
you gotta have the kind that have more beans.
But then they take up even more space.
Yeah.
You know what I want though? I want symposium chairs. And then all I need is a big bowl, like a big bowl to put in the middle of the room and a bunch of saucers. And I seriously want to host a symposium in the classic sense.
That's all you.
The only drawback.
You're steam cleaning the carpet afterwards.
You see, if you get drunk at a symposium, you're doing it wrong.
I'm talking about spilling the wine.
If anyone spills the wine, then they drank too much.
If there's a giant bowl and saucers, it's going to be spilled.
Well, it'll be a tile room, so.
Uh-huh. Alrighty then.
Yeah.
Then you got to mop the floor.
I'm so about a symposium.
And if you stain the grout purple, you got to clean that too.
I'm surprised you remembered that because this is something that's been in my this has been in my hopper for a long time. Ever since I learned what the word symposium actually meant.
All right, well, you got a thing of the day, Mr. Symposium?
Well, I do, in fact. Speaking of the exact opposite of a symposium, this is a video of us performing at an anime convention.
Oh, come on. What, you using us as a thing of the day?
No,
That's so shit.
We're not the thing of the day. Here's the deal. There are a lot of videos of us on YouTube performing at conventions, and
I was not aware of this. I'll have to go watch them.
a lot of them are very poorly done, just because, it's some punk kid in the audience filming something. But my thing of the day is not, hey, watch this video, and I wouldn't even recommend you watch the whole thing. But I want to point something out. We've talked about this on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, mostly Wednesdays, but, our Thursday listeners are a different bunch in general. A lot of you listen to, like, all the rest of Geeknights, or you only listen to Thursday.
It's kind of weird what goes on with the different days.
Well, Thursday is a really different day. It's kind of a different... We tend to blow Thursday off a lot more and get a lot less formal and a lot more, like today.
Oh, today's super
Yeah, but it's weird. Every time we do an episode like this, people are like, man, that episode was great. And every time we try and do like a research episode, it's like, wow, that was boring.
I don't get it.
Anyway, so there's a phenomenon that occurs whenever there are groups of fans of something, and nowhere is this more clear than at an anime convention. Now, I want you to watch the beginning of this video, because the video quality is awful. I apologize for that. But we're running this anime match game. It's like a game show we got actually, the guests up there are pretty hot. I'll say that the old-looking man is Peter Fernandez, the first voice of Speed Racer.
No, the English voice.
Yeah, let me tell you, that dude's a cool freaking dude.
It's weird because like this old man hobbles in, and I'm like, oh man, it's that guy. I knew he was coming.
I was like, I don't want to hurt him.
And then he talks. He still has like famous old radio voice, and it's like, wow, like tiny old man with like this crazy voice coming out. You're like, holy shit. I need a voice like that so I can be all radio.
But notice what happens in the beginning of this. I'm doing, a match game question, and this is one of our, like, throwaway questions that's supposed to be a crowd pleaser. It's not, because the match game was never intended for anyone to actually win it. It's intended to make people write funny things. So, the question is, I say, this is very blah, 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 blah. Name for me a Pokemon. And I consider the noise level of the room up until I ask the question fully, and then listen to what happens, because it seems like whenever you're at a fan convention, especially anime, we could do an event, and we do this at all our panels just to see and kind of mess with people. All right, we're going to talk about something, and there's a big crowd, hundreds and hundreds of people, and they're sitting there, and they're waiting for me to talk. And if Scott or I just say, like, Final Fantasy, the crowd loses their shit. Final Fantasy! Oh my god, Final Fantasy 4! No, Final Fantasy 6! Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles!
Oh my god, they said the name of something I like. It's time to cheer. Woo!
I remember I learned of this phenomenon at the RIT Anime Club because Luke, who was kind of the leader of the club at the time, whenever there was a delay, like a technical problem, you gotta entertain the crowd or they'll freaking kill us, because that's the crowd was big and dangerous. Yeah, a bunch of anime fans. But, if he needed to entertain a crowd on the spot with no preparation, all he'd do is go to the crowd. He'd be like, yell out someone who's awesome. And then someone would be like, Roger Smith from Big O. And then he'd be like, all right, who's more awesome than Roger Smith? And then the crowd would just go crazy. And he would just kind of whip them up into this fury until we were ready to go. And then we hit play on whatever DVD we were watching.
Yeah.
I don't understand this phenomenon, but here's an example of it in case you have never seen it. If you ever find yourself...
think about what Rim's actually saying, what actually is going on, and look at the reaction the audience has to what's going on, and look how disproportionate it is. It's like they react so crazily to so little. It's kind of scary.
That wasn't one of our clever questions. That wasn't one of the ones with, like, 4 sentences of witty, like, build-up to some amazing, funny thing. That was, name a Pokemon. The worst thing is people react the same way as people name Pokemon.
Yeah.
Pokemans.
Pokemon. So
you can't help 10.
What are we doing the show on today?
I don't know.
So we had to do the show on something.
Yeah, well, let's see. We could talk about high school, how high school has changed.
Yeah, but what am I gonna say? I already said what I had to say.
I got a lot more to say, but that's because my high school was weird. So, like, my high school wasn't locked.
My high school wasn't locked.
High schools are locked now. You can't get in during the day.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't go outside.
I think, maybe that's part of the thing is that it's hard for me to say what's different about high school because I don't know about high school now very much.
I know.
I haven't been to high school in I graduated in 2000, so we're talking like a decade pretty much.
I think the reason I know is that the whole Columbine thing happened while we were in high school, and I graduated, right? But the summer after I went to college, I actually went back to Michigan for that summer. That was the last summer I spent in Michigan. In fact, that was the last any time I spent in Michigan, really. But I went back and, I knew a lot of the administration and people at this college, the high school. And, I went back and I wanted to talk to people. And I remember one day I just went back over to the high school and I tried to walk in and the doors were locked. I was like, what the fuck? All the doors were locked. So I went to the front office and they're like, who are you? I'm like, I'm an old Rim. I was like practically valedictorian. I was awesome. Don't you remember me? And they're like, oh yeah, we know who you are, but what the hell are you doing here? It's like, I don't know. I want to say hi to Mr. Garrison. Mr. What's his name?
You had a Mr. Garrison?
No, I just made up a name.
Oh, okay.
I want to say hi to Mr. So-and-so and Miss So-and-so. You can't go in here. What? Go away. You can't be on school grounds. You leave immediately. What? You're not a student here. You don't live here. You have to leave. Law. Blah, 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 blah. Like, So I went over to the one place I knew I could get into the school, the band room. I just ripped open the secret door that, as far as I know, is still broken. You can just open it 24/7. And I went in and talked to my teachers. They're like, yeah, if they find you here, they're probably going to call the police. And I was like, what? And I remember my teachers telling me how crappy the high school had gotten in like the year and a half. So yeah, high schools are different.
All right. So do you want to do the whole show on that, or do you think it's something else?
I don't know. All I could do now is enumerate all the things that are different, and I don't want to get into that because that'd also be a lot of, man, high school was awesome. All you kids can't experience what we had. Na 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 na.
All right. So let's see. What do we have on the calendar here? Let's see.
Oh, you opening the calendar?
I already have the calendar open. Let's see. Spaceship Dogfight is scheduled for today, but I don't think we want to do that.
I gotta look up spaceships.
Yeah, I only know a few. Let's see. If I were a superhero.
If I were a supervillain.
Yeah, if I were a pirate.
You
really filled the calendar up with those if I were's.
Because we were hurting for Thursdays for so long, and then finally someone in the forum was like, what if you were a supervillain? And we realized...
That was me.
Yeah, and then I guess it was you. And then we're like, wait a minute, why don't we just do... Those episodes are really popular, and they're really easy to do, but... I don't know. I don't feel like doing one of those. That's a high energy episode.
Yeah.
I don't have high energy.
There's a Crime and Punishment where I guess we talk about like
Dostoevsky.
prisons and what's wrong with them and that sort of thing.
Yeah, or we could talk about the book.
I've never read the book.
What?
It's big and long.
It's really good. Have you read anything by him?
No, I know who he is.
Nothing.
I know his books. I just never read them.
Scott, you got to read Crime and Punishment.
That's not going to happen.
It's a good book.
All right, I'll read that, and I'm just going to let that Prince of Nothing sit there.
God, read the Prince of Nothing first. It's a better book. Oh, man. I wanted to do this Thursday about the Prince of Nothing, but you got to read it.
I'll read it sometime.
Actually, here's something. To all you listeners out there.
You know what? I would have read it sooner, but you know what? I'm almost done with Ace Attorney when I was going to Ace Attorney 4. And as soon as I finished it, I was maybe going to read Prince of Nothing. But you know what? Nope. Crystal Chronicles DS shows up. Oh, well.
I'm going to tell you all right now, everyone out there, there's a book. It is called The Darkness That Comes Before, The Prince of Nothing. It's the first in a series. It is written by R. Scott Bakker. I cannot recommend this book to you highly enough.
Do you want to set the Amazon affiliate thing that we talked about?
We should set that up, yeah.
Well, basically, like, I know people out there, right? We have always said we don't make money on the show, and we won't want to make money on the show. We're not going to advertise or anything like that, right? But apparently, the Amazon affiliate program has been around for a long time. If you don't know what it is, basically, it allows you to make links to Amazon. And those links sort of give you money. So, for example, if I wanted to link to, say, this Prince of Nothing book, and I put a link to the Prince of Nothing book on Amazon on our website, right? I could just make a link to the book on Amazon. There's nothing stopping me from doing that. But the affiliate program means I do a special link. And what happens is if I was to click on that link, a special link, and then buy the book, Amazon would know, hey, someone bought this book and Scott sent them here. I'm going to give Scott 10 or 20% of the price of that book.
I think it's a lot less than that.
It's actually quite a bit. It's a significant discount. So you could buy books from yourself and save money on Amazon because it's basically like an automatic rebate if you set up the affiliate program for yourself.
Well, anyway, our thinking
you can
was
also the real idea of it is that like you listeners would buy books that we told you to buy, or not just books, but DVDs, CDs, whatever, and you click on the links at frontrowrecruit.com, you then buy the product, and then we get money.
Now, I guess we're thinking about doing this partly because we don't have any other way to make money off of Geeknights. And, well, as we've said clearly and repeatedly, we will never, ever advertise in Geeknights, on the website, anything. Ever.
Nope, it's not going to happen.
So we figure we're warning you now, because if we do this, we're pretty much, we don't want, like, unlike a lot of other people who just throw these links in willy-nilly, like in forum posts and everything to try to just get the money.
And they don't tell you what they're doing. They just put a link there to Amazon. And you don't realize that they're making money off of it.
We're going to be so upfront about this that
we're going to be like,
annoying.
if you click this link and buy the book, we will make money. You can click this link to buy the book and we won't get money, you know? We're going to totally be upfront with it, but we'll just give the option out there.
Yeah, of course, we're going to start selling
We'll
our t-shirts
also use
soon.
it to buy stuff at a discount for ourselves.
Yeah, of course, I did just buy another copy of The Darkness That Comes Before.
We have one. What do you need two?
I bought the hardcover one I couldn't get anywhere, so I bought it used in good condition for really little money.
I
like
guess.
$4.
What do you need the hardcover for? Hardcovers suck.
Because it's a really good book.
That doesn't mean anything. Hardcovers suck.
The hardcover is going to be my lending copy.
You want to do an episode about why I could argue that hardcovers suck?
Actually, you know what? If a book is thicker than about an inch, I really prefer a hardcover.
I never prefer a hardcover, and here's why. Number one, it's more expensive.
Not if you buy it used.
Number two, I guess, but the same can be said for paperback. Number two, it takes up more physical space.
It's worth it if you're reading a book that's more than an inch thick, or if it's 2 inches thick. Without the hardcover, the thing falls apart and sucks to read.
It only falls apart if the binding is shitty. Binding can be shitty on hardcovers, too. I've had hardcovers fall off just as much as soft covers.
I haven't, only old ones.
Yeah, but if the binding is shitty, there's not, the binding is shitty. It doesn't matter what kind of binding it is. It's a shitty binding.
Whatever, I disagree with you. I like hardcovers.
I don't like hardcovers ever. The only time I get a hardcover, actually, is I actually buy the Walking Dead in hardcover because it's so much cheaper.
Anyway. R. Scott Bakker, The Prince of Nothing, The Darkness That Comes Before. Serious, hardcore, amazing fantasy. I'm amazed by these books. I think I talked about them before.
You have.
Yes, but the reason I'm going to tell you all to get these books and read them again is because I'm working on getting an interview with the author. And I've seen other interviews with him, and there's no question that I had was not already asked and answered. So if any of you have questions for the author, let us know, I guess.
And then I'll have to read the book.
And then that'll push me more and more toward actually getting an interview.
Or trying to get an interview.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can get one. Also, if any of you have questions for Luke Crane, the god of role-playing, then...
I don't think he's the god. I think he's like the rock star of role-playing.
Yeah, he's definitely the rock star.
He's the rock star of tabletop role-playing.
Yeah. We're going to interview him again soon, so send us your questions. We'll talk about that on Tuesday. But
I guess. All right, so we're not going to talk about that.
I guess I could talk about it. You could just sit there.
Yeah. Okay, so let's check the forum thread of show ideas.
Oh, great. This is going to go nowhere.
Yeah, I know, right?
Let me pull it up, too. We can... you see, guys, out there, this is what happens. This is what we do. Part of the reason we're doing this is this is what we would be doing if we didn't have a show idea and we weren't tired and we weren't worried about getting the show done and going to bed or whatever, or playing Brawl. We would just have this discussion for an hour, and then we do the show on whatever we decided.
Thursday series, Disney animated films. We thought of that before. I could do a show on Dumbo, probably, or Aladdin. But we sort of skipped out of the movie phase. You want to go back to the movie phase a little bit?
We got to watch movies. Scott, who's never seen Strange Days. How to run an online community. That's probably Monday.
That's a Monday.
Yes, that's not a suggestion.
Well, okay.
Hey, you might want to continue the series How to Not Suck at College. Yeah, I guess we never continued that.
Where did we stop? What's left to say?
We ended with part 1.
Did we really?
Well, he said do a part 2. Did we do a part 2?
What page are you on?
The last page.
I have no idea.
Oh, well.
We'll have to go look that one up.
Well, anyone out there, if you want us to continue How to Not Suck at College, tell us what we talked about in the first How to Not Suck at College.
And tell us what you want us to talk about in the second How to Not Suck at College.
However, tell you the easiest thing. There are 3 things, and you can only pick 2. Sleep, fun, grades.
I would like to see an episode on Tesla coils or Tesla's other great inventions. That's sort of a Monday, but we could do a Tesla show.
Yeah,
right?
Tesla's really cool. Also, a lot of people...
Tesla's my man.
A lot of people, however, think Tesla accomplished a lot more than he actually did.
That is true.
Tesla is not he did not make magic. All the conspiracy people are always like, yeah, Tesla had a blah in 19 blah.
He had a thing that you could fit in your pocket, but would make earthquakes that would shake the whole city. Yeah, okay, sure, you're right.
I would like to hear more of Rim's 80s metal keyboard. Are you serious?
I think he may be serious, but he's alone.
All right, do you guys want to hear more of my 80s metal keyboard?
The keyboard's not even here anymore.
No, it's at Emily's apartment, but I have a laptop and a MIDI interface.
Oh.
And I could go over there and make you some music. I don't know if you want me to.
Yeah, someone wants us to do an Akira show. That's a Wednesday, but you still haven't read that.
Oh, yeah, we could do just the movie first.
I haven't watched the movie in so long. I didn't get the DVD. The DVD's at least
actually,
it's a good DVD.
Yeah, we can watch it on Netflix on demand anytime.
Is it really on there?
Yeah, it's the dub, but
that doesn't count.
The dub's not that bad.
I know, but especially the new dub is not that bad either.
Yeah, so what's your problem?
Actually, the new dub is better than the old dub. There's no doubt. But I actually have nostalgia. I have nostalgia. I have a nostalgia for the old dub, and the new dub sort of bothers me because of the nostalgia.
Hey, you always yell at me when there's nostalgia for a dub.
Because at least I admit it.
Well, it depends, because some dubs like...
There's a difference between saying that one, though the old one's better, and saying the old one isn't better, but I like it better for nostalgia reasons.
Well, the thing is, there are some dubs where the old dub or the American dub was probably worse on a technical scale and worse on an accuracy scale than newer dubs of newer shows, but they were just done better and with more spirit or more emotion or better acting and just more, I don't know. Sometimes the old stuff is better.
All right, let's see. The Constitution. Yeah, that takes more than a show. We need like one show per amendment and then one show per article. You realize we've already, whenever we finally do shows on politics, we probably need to do a multi-part series on federalism in and of itself. Probably. How about the idea of democracy? Democracy itself would take us a month to cover. God. Sitcoms, Simpsons, Seinfeld. That's it.
I don't know. The Critic.
Flintstones.
The Critic was good.
Is that a sitcom?
What constant? You realize, Scott, sitcom means a situational comedy. A comedy wherein humor can be derived from situations in which characters are played.
I think The Critic is more of a character comedy than a situation comedy.
But they put the character in situations. How is that different from Seinfeld?
I don't know.
We should do a show on Seinfeld.
That's not a bad show.
That's a good show. Seinfeld is... You know what? The funniest thing about Seinfeld is I really found it funny as a kid. And my my whole family, we love Seinfeld. Now that I live and work in New York, it's a lot funnier. Because a lot of those jokes I didn't quite get.
Yeah,
and now I get them.
Oh, this guy, Chaos of 99, has a good list here. Let's see. Michael Moore, he's crazy. Presidential elections, you should go back to the old way.
I don't know.
Horror movies, they're not scary. Importing games cost too much money.
Zombie A Go-Go suggests Yar Matey.
Nice. Road trips or traveling in general, we've covered that. Collectible card games, put that on a Tuesday.
It's already in the calendar.
Infinity.
So are non-collectible card games.
Yeah. Infinity in math or science. It means infinity, like goes on forever, doesn't stop.
No, there's a lot of different kinds of infinity, like the Aleph Null infinity, and
I don't know that kind of math.
I could do a show on that, but it's not that interesting. Here's the extent of what I could do. I could tell you all the different kinds of infinity and describe what they are to the best of my knowledge.
Utopian and dystopian futures. That's kind of interesting. But are we just gonna talk about possibilities or like different books that have utopian and dystopian futures?
Talk about what's more likely or what technologies could cause either to happen.
I don't know. Fraternities, I could talk about that.
We should do a show just on 1984.
Yeah, we could do that. I haven't read it in a while.
Should read it again.
It takes
you
a few
guys
days.
need to read and review Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. I have read Johnny the Homicidal Maniac.
I've only read the first volume of Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and that was a long time ago.
I think we should read it again and then do a show on it. We can do that.
That means we got to get it. We don't have it.
I'll get it.
It's not easy to get.
Well, because I borrowed Greg's.
I know, me too. I read his first volume. Anyway.
Jason, did we ever learn how Brandon became Rim? I've answered that in 4 separate shows.
Seriously, people.
Oh, and someone right after linked to me explaining it in the forum.
Let's see. Thursday. Okay. Experiences in Walmart. Walmart is a store, and I don't go there ever. I will. If it was the last store on earth, I wouldn't go there.
The last time I went to a Walmart, I was in North Carolina. It was the only place I could get Red Bull. Oh, no, I went to one in Arizona, too.
Paranormal experiences. don't exist because they're not real.
I think I could do a good show along those lines, though.
Being bored at work? You mean every day?
See, you should get a job like I have. I have not been bored at work ever.
Actually, I'm not. See, the thing is, I actually have work to do at work, and it's not boring, but I'm just kind of mad. Like, I'll sit there and just sort of read my email and read the forum and then put my head on my desk. And when I could be doing work, and I kind of want to do, but I just kind of go, eh.
A Satoshi Kon episode, we can do that.
We have to
Wednesday.
do that. That has to be done. Things I miss as a child. I'm not a child, so I don't miss anything. I could miss things from childhood. I miss having no responsibility and plenty of free time. How about and having someone cook and clean for me?
Yeah.
That was good.
God,
I miss that.
In terms of, if I look at that part, like just from that perspective, when I was in high school, I had infinite resources as far as, reasonable resources were available. I had infinite free time, zero responsibility, and I could do whatever I want, whenever I wanted, anytime, and no one would say anything.
Oh, God. Pizza and Italian food, Mexican food, Chinese food, Japanese food. What's the food, people?
We've done a bunch of food episodes.
I'm telling you, someone out there, we need some more food podcasts. There is a demand for food podcasts that is unfulfilled. We should make, the Food Podcast Network.
I think I could make
the
a food
Network
podcast.
would sue us, but we should make the Food Podcast Network.
I think I could make, if I weren't doing Geeknights and I had free time, I think I could make a pretty good, once every other week or once a week food podcast.
See, I wouldn't actually, if I made a food podcast, I wouldn't say anything about food because I'm not qualified, but all I would do is research culinary people, interview culinary people from around the world, and I would ask them about their cooking and such.
Why ice hockey is awesome. Oh, no, he heard that episode. He wants us to talk about RIT hockey.
Hockey?
I could do a show on RIT. Hockey!
That's what this is.
That's what that is. Hit somebody!
That's what you gotta do.
You know what? I really miss being able to yell, hit somebody! And have someone out there hit somebody directly because I said it. I don't think, God, we got to do a show on RIT hockey.
Even at the NHL, that won't happen.
Yeah, remember, at RIT hockey, if you were sitting in the corner and you yell, but remember, you can't just yell, hit somebody. You have to yell it like that. Hit somebody! Someone will hit someone as soon as they can.
Usually getting an interference call.
Yes.
For the evil refs.
We would use the evil ref. How dare they enforce the rules against us? And how dare they not call that cheap shot from the other team?
Okay. Someone says we should do a Monty Python show. Next Thursday, Monty Python.
Definitely.
There we go.
I learned one thing when
It's a lock.
Emily's friend Taguchi-san was visiting from Japan. We learned something. They know about Monty Python in Japan.
They don't have anything. I mean, there's nothing we have that they want that they don't have.
Talking to this kid was fascinating. I should talk about this on a Wednesday, but we learned a couple of things. One, as far as the average Japanese anime fan is, as far as they would consider our anime taste and collection, we are old fucking men who watch old, obscure, weird stuff that kids today had never even heard of or don't care about.
Yeah, that's pretty much accurate.
The fact we know more about anime than we should.
Yep. And also, the only thing that the Japanese people want from America that they don't have is iPhones, and we don't even want iPhones.
Yeah,
so I'm like, you can have the iPhones, take them. We don't need them.
He was like, yeah, we're like, oh man, and he's showing us his DS games. Like, oh, I want that.
He's got this game by Atlas that is this amazing maze game that looks like Dungeon Master, and I'm like, oh, look at that maze. I want that game so bad.
And then we talked to him and we realized that there's every game that is good comes out in Japan and possibly America. No game that is good comes out in America, not Japan, except PC games. That's because PC gaming barely exists in Japan.
Yeah.
Of course, it barely exists
they don't
here.
have Portal, but they don't know about it to want it.
God, it was funny. Emily was trying to explain to him what Portal was, but, offhand, you don't know the word for, wormhole in Japanese. So it was like, it's a game, but instead of shooting bullets, you shoot doors. What, like front doors? No, like holes. Like explosions? No, like the entrance to...
You should have just showed it to him.
No, she did. She was like, never mind. Here, YouTube video. Doors.
Yeah.
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 I could do a show about Chianti, but I don't think anyone else wants to.
Have we managed to talk long enough about what to do a show on that we've managed to kill the show yet?
You know what? I kind of want to make my French toast challah and some eggs to go with that, so... You have gotten a rare insight into the creative process of Geeknights.
Yeah, and a total cop-out from some lazy-ass fools.
But I'll tell you all something scary, and you might be... It might have sounded like we were talking to you, because it when we're alone, we sound like this. When our friends are over, we sound like this. Like, it might sound weird, but we noticed this way back at RIT when the way the room was set up, we'd all be in the living room of our apartment because everyone hung out in our apartment, our tiny ass, little smelly, dank basement apartment.
Oh, the dank mode, the dank.
What about the dank? But everyone would sit like in the living room. But Scott and I had our computers like against the far wall and our desks were there. So we'd sit in our computer chairs because, we got to use every possible place someone can sit or stand or no one's going to fit. So we would sit kind of facing each other at like a 45-degree angle, half facing each other, half facing the front row crew and extended Visigothic community. The Visigoths, the Ostrogoths, the Vandals, everyone. And we would talk. It was almost like it was like a forum debate and everyone else was the audience in like a burning wheel duel of wits. And it wasn't just us. Other people would do this too. But it got to the point where whenever any of us talked to each other, we almost always talk as though there's a third neutral party who is evaluating us and we were trying to convince them, not each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of weird sometimes. But if you were in the room with us and
hey,
we weren't
neutral
recording,
third party, you agree that like Rim should like end this episode and we should go eat, right? And go to bed.
Yes, well, yes, I do. You know what? If I weren't tired and lazy, I totally should have used the Mike Dent button.
No, don't.
All right, we're done. This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com, where you'll find show notes, links, our awesome forum, a link to our Frapper map, and links to all the RSS feeds.
We say feeds plural because Geeknights airs 4 nights a week, covering 4 different brands of geekery. Mondays are science and technology. Tuesdays, we have video games, board games, and RPGs. Wednesdays are anime, manga, comic nights. And Thursdays are the catch-alls for various rants and tomfoolery.
You can send us feedback by email to geeknights@frontrowcrew.com. Or you can send audio feedback via Odeo. Just click the link that says Send Me an Audio on the right side of our website.
If you like what you hear, you can catch the last 100 episodes in iTunes or in your favorite podcatcher. For the complete archives, visit the website, which has everything.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 2.5 license. This means you can do whatever you want with it as long as you give us credit, don't make money, and share it in kind. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.